Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our new episode of He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. It is Friday, April the 21st. I'm your host, Alvin King. Thank you all for joining us. Who's out there sneezing right now? All of us, okay? The pollen count is ridiculous in DC, ladies and gentlemen. And it is covering everything from your cars to your shirts to your shoes. It is absolutely insane. But thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm so happy that you're here. For our another episode of our Let's Get Newsy 7 show. There's so much in the news, and we love bringing it to you our way. Tomorrow is Earth Day. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are celebrating Earth Day tomorrow, and wanted to make sure that we share all of that with you. And for those of you who don't know, Earth Day is about taking care of the environment. So there's a lot of us who have asked the question, why do we celebrate Earth Day? Well, first of all, Earth Day was celebrated in 1970 when a United States senator from Wisconsin organized a national demonstration to raise awareness about environmental issues. Rallies took place across the country, and by the end of the year, the U.S. government had created the Environmental Protection Agency. Did you know that? Yes, that happened because someone thought it was, we needed to protect the environment. So why the 22nd of April? Well, they did that because it was in part it fell somewhere between college spring break and final exams, and also from the observance of Arbor Day, which began in Nebraska in 1872, a day when people are encouraged to plant trees. And while we're here talking about, the environment, ladies and gentlemen, there are some storms that are ripping through southern and the Midwestern United States. They are awful. Our prayers go out to Oklahoma. They got hit really, 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 really hard. So our hearts go out to you. And last week, don't forget, in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on April the 12th, they didn't have any idea that it was going to rain. And the area around the airport reported 25.6 inches of rain within approximately 12 hours. They were pulling people from their cars and everything in nearby Dania Beach. It was absolutely insane. And so, we want to, again, extend our hearts out to all these people who are enduring some of these really bad weather patterns. Also in DC this week, for all of you who like to indulge, it is National Cannabis Festival in DC, and I think we have a link that I want to put up to show you of the National CannabisFestival.com. It's their 6th annual cannabis festival. It'll be held on Saturday at the RFK Festival grounds, and this is a full day in concerts, and there's going to be a lot of remarks from Congress, educational sessions, and it'll be taking place right around the U.S. Capitol building, and this particular event displays the diversity in age and culture of the cannabis community. I can't imagine how it's going to smell down there, but I'm telling you, for all of you who like cannabis, going on down to RFK Stadium tomorrow, buy your ticket. It's going to be a fun day. Okay, and last but not least, something that is happening in DC that's really important this weekend. On tomorrow, it is the I Am Awards, ladies and gentlemen, at the Grand Hyatt Hotel in DC. It's the 2nd annual I Am Awards, and it is a black tie fundraising gala and awards program. The event will highlight individuals who have significantly contributed to the enhancing the quality of life of the minority LGBTQ community. And it's hosted by Speak Out USA. .org. We have a link there. Please go to speakoutusa.org. They have been very nice to me. We promote He Said on their social media pages. They are so kind. Thank you, but congratulations on your 2nd I Am Awards. All right. So let's get on with our Let's Get Newsy show, but I can't do that without my co-host. So if you all are ready, let's get on with the chat. Hey,
hey, y'all.
Hey.
How y'all doing?
Good. You guys fighting that pollen?
Look, I had to get the car washed because it was caked on.
Yeah.
Do you hear
it was green.
Caked on. Yeah.
Car was green.
Mm-hmm.
It's really
shouldn't be green.
It's really bad. But thank God I'm kind of in front of it because I think wearing masks really helps. I really do. I think it really helps for those of us who suffer like me. I think it is really a helpful tool. Yeah. Well, who is this who said hello? We got some folks in here because I'm sorry I was running my mouth. I saw some folks. Hey, Michi. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you. Thank you for everyone who's listening, and we can't see you because I know some of you all are out there.
Yeah, we got a couple of people who were talking about your comments about the pollen and so forth. So
Rose said hello and talked about the pollen. Yep. And Cynic DC, who is Cynic DC, says glad to be back with you. I'm the only person without allergies. Does she know?
Pringle.
Hey, Rodney E. Thank you for joining the show tonight. You guys, I've been talking to a lot of people with kids who are in high school, and it is prom time.
It is. Hey, Blue.
It is prom time. Hey, Blue, it is prom time. And you all, I thought tonight it would be a good idea because we, ladies and gentlemen, we've done some research, okay? And these kids have taken prom to a whole nother level.
Yeah, they have.
Yes.
A whole nother level. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Some of the research that I've done, and Michi, I'm gonna give you some credit because you helped me do this because Michi, you were the one who made me go, wait a minute. We gotta talk about this because Michi, I follow some of y'all on your pages. Okay, so yeah.
I do have my prom picture I wanted to share. This is a long time ago.
So are you going to do that thing where you put it up to the phone and is that what you got? Yeah. See, y'all, we are live. Look at Bobby in his and there's a story behind that.
That hair, look at that hair.
Yeah. Well, thank you. So yes, Bobby did go to his prom. Okay.
I just wanted to be clear. The support of my brothers is real. I showed them this picture when we were doing our research, and Alvin said, I can't remember. I think it was Alvin. He said, oh, no, Vash said, were you in tails? And I said, yes. And then Alvin said, oh, Bobby went to the prom and
no, see,
because he was telling lies.
He was telling lies. See, that's what happened. See, ladies and gentlemen, the devil is real. Okay, look. Okay. We're gonna wait for him. We're gonna wait for him to pop back on. But in the meantime, we're gonna show you. Oh, there he. Okay.
But I was telling the truth. You said that I went to the prom and I waited on tables at the same time.
First of all, I didn't say that. I would never say that to you. But what about other co-hosts?
Wait, did Vash say it?
Was it funny?
All right, I apologize.
Funny that I said it.
It was Vash.
Ladies and gentlemen, to be clear, Bobby had on tails, and Vash said, "Oh, you look nice." He said, "You look nice," and you waited tables. Okay, that's what he said. Okay, that's the kind of reads that go on backstage up in here.
It's not funny. I see all those smiling. It's not funny.
But anyway,
Sean knows I'm hilarious.
We're going to take you down the new prom. The prom. We're going to take you down prom.com street tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Look at some of these looks. Okay, these kids are going way out. They even rented a car the color of their prom outfit. How about that?
Was it a rental or did someone own that? Because that's.
I think because there's a lot of photography studios who are doing this kind of thing. Hey, Van.
Oh Lord.
Okay, and look at this, and I gotta say, some of the actual looks are looking a lot more ladylike on the females than they have in previous years.
Last couple of years, they've been Cardi B.
Yeah, they've been very
no longer a fashion choice.
No,
glamour,
not at all. And the guys, most of them don't know how to buy hard shoes anymore, which is a problem for me. But we're not going to do that. But look, the girls are finding these gowns, and there's they're using these nice silhouettes. Because she's a plus size girl. She looks like, right? Okay, and
Beautiful form fitting.
There must be some cold ducks somewhere in America. Okay,
they are giving you body, as well as flair and fashion.
I also don't know how they're. These are dresses that right now are looking really pretty, or in a picture. But the third hour of the prom, like, how are you walking? Where are you sitting? Like, this is a lot of dress.
Well, everything is about Instagram now. Take my picture. Do this. Do that. Right. Everybody. Hey, Shannon.
Hey, Shannon.
Blue said Corella. I do like their color combo there. I like the gray and the purple.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And he looks really great on her skin tone too.
I liked his the fact that in this picture he did wear tennis shoes, and he just fit the whole mold to me too. So yeah, that was one of my favorites.
Laces, the purple laces. I don't think that's too much. I think that he looks sharp and smart and young, and that's how they're rocking it now.
And intentional, right? Because that's important to me, to look intentional.
Yeah.
And he was a gentleman. He held her dress, which was which I really caught that. I like that. But that's a great look too. It's not revealing too much.
The difference between growing up and being raised.
Right. Oh, there you go. Okay. Again. I thought this was too long.
I think it's way too long. That it feels long, but it's well fitted. I will say that.
Yes. Yeah. It is.
Yeah. They found the right applique for that.
And she has got 90 inches of hair that is braided to still give you 70 inches of hair.
And true story, my niece is getting her son ready for my great nephew ready for his prom tonight. And believe me, she has a story. I don't know if she's keeping a journal, but I said, girl, you need to write in a journal all you've gone through to get him prepared for this one night.
It's a big night. It's a big night.
They look fantastic.
Now, do we get the symbolic prop that they're using here?
The goat?
I see the goat, but I don't know what the goat was for. What is the goat for? Are they the greatest of all time? Y'all better go.
If you have a goat, are you the goat?
I don't know.
Or are you a goat wannabe?
Y'all better sit now or forever hold your peace. Okay.
Rodney Elliott is laughing out loud.
Yeah.
Okay. So they had a goat, but now these two got two Rottweilers.
Oh, well. Is that what those are?
I don't know. I don't know.
They were bears. I'm like,
and are they real? They kind of look stuffed.
Well, I don't know.
Wow.
I think they're stuffed.
Well, see, and that's why I'm saying a lot of these companies are doing these stage photos for these kids. But
points again for color coordination. The thickness of that dress at the bottom.
Yes.
And the accents of that brother's outfit. Gotta give him that.
Looking good. But again, her dress is too long. I'm wondering how she's gonna walk in it, but she looks fabulous.
And again, those appliques cost a lot. Now her dress is long, but I think she can maneuver. Yeah,
I agree. I don't know what it is about it that makes it look older on her. The dated, like
it's the color.
It's the color.
It's Rodney and not CGI.
They kind of do.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. He has on hard shoes, so I gave him a plus. Okay,
he got a point for a hard shoe.
Yeah, he had on hard shoes, but comb your hair.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He lost points on the hair. Elegant.
Elegant. Yep.
Hard shoes again.
Great shot. Yep. Yep.
This one does look like it was taken at Sears, though. No shade. Sears does good portraits. And we can move on. Wow.
Right.
I mean,
now, did he steal the other guy's suit? Did they? Because they look kind of.
It looks like the same suit.
It looks like the same suit that one of the other guys. So they probably went to Macy's. It's okay. It's okay.
It's all right. I am not.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
With all this AI, what were you saying, Boddie?
What do you say, Vash?
I was gonna say, with all this AI, wouldn't it be a trip if these weren't even the people?
Oh my God. Well, Rodney has already suggested.
Yeah.
They're secretly lovers.
Now we know why they have this. Thank you, Rodney.
Oh, okay. Thanks for that narrative, Rodney. I believe in you. I thought this was a great picture also.
It is.
I thought this was a great picture on orange, but they really were off on their coordinating because she's in orange and he's in tangerine, and they're two different colors.
And I also am, I can't get too close, but it really looks like there is a level of transparency of this dress that may just be inappropriate for a prom. Like it looks really see-through.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, hopefully she got on some soft something. Okay, so we're gonna move on and close our
yeah. The parasol girl and the bang. Get the bang. She's getting you with the parasol, the bang, and
the hair color with it's yeah.
And she has to have the tip of that applique right where it is.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Wrong again. Okay.
Problem.
Okay. Okay. But people gonna step on your dress. Okay, more than anything, 18 and 19 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's
social distancing.
Yeah. It's interesting, and we have now. I thought she was beautiful.
She's perfect.
I thought he was also beautiful. This is one of my favorite pictures of them all.
Very attractive couple.
Yeah,
I love his very strategic, complementary color there. It's accessorizing. Very nice.
Checked off all the box. Sexy, shoes, debonair.
Hair.
Hair, everything. Yep. They got my vote. Ladies and gentlemen. So now we have no idea. We haven't given any credit to where they bought any of them. I did say Macy's, and I'm taking that back because I'm sorry. I don't know if they got those suits from Macy's.
It was so hot here in DC.
I'm not going to do that unless Macy's wants to sponsor. He said. But ladies and gentlemen, if you all are ready, we got some news that we want to share with you. And lately it has just been some of the news has been really, really hard to watch. And I'm going to let Bobby take it away. But it's just been a really crazy time in the news. Yeah.
After we've gone from those fashion selections on prom, we did want to look at some of the other news that's out here right now. And right now, you cannot turn on the television or read a paper and not hear about yet again another mass shooting. And one of the things we were talking about this past Saturday, one day, there were 7 mass shootings. The number of mass shootings in the United States on Saturday was higher than on any other day so far in 2023. Thus far, we have had 163 documented mass shootings in the year 2023. And I'm very strategic in saying documented because one thing we know is we're not hearing all of the situations. Now, to be qualified as a mass shooting, it's supposed to be 4 people shot or more. One of the things we know all too well within our communities is not everything that happens in our communities gets reported or gets the same coverage as in other communities. But so far documented 163 more mass shootings than there have been days in the year so far.
Wow.
And Bobby, the truth to what you just said, undocumented. I just heard today when I told someone we was doing the show and it was going to be, our less documented or undocumented.
Documented.
He has said to me, well, did you hear about the 3 trans women that have all been killed in 1 week in Atlanta?
No,
I said no.
I think you said this.
I said I hadn't heard that, and see that just speaks to your point, and it's just that. But the mass shootings are overwhelming right now.
Yep.
And the fact that it takes 4 or more to be considered a mass shooting means that anything less than that, like you were saying, doesn't cross
registered.
Exactly. It doesn't get into being registered. And we're so busy keeping track of mass shootings. Like you said, we're not keeping track anymore of the Black trans women or trans women that are getting murdered, or some of the other marginalized groups. As a matter of fact, we have another category that's creeping in and about to take over.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, just got word from our wonderful producer that each day 12 children die from gun violence in America. Another 32 are shot or injured each day in the United States of America. And yet we can come up with quick and fast legislation to stop a man dressed in a dress from reading a book to a child. We can say that is harmful to children, and yet the number one cause of death of young people in America are guns.
Mm-hmm. I think I saw a comment from George that said, which, it's a shame that many of those shootings are from people caught up in their feelings, which AKA to me says people are really letting their triggers affect them, and it's making people do, well, I'm saying triggers, but we all know that there's a fair amount of hate in there. We know that there is some, racial overtones in there. We know that a lot of these shootings are because people feel like they can, because they've been given, opportunities to go out and buy guns and, or own guns or buy guns, or however you want to say it. And there's no laws to prevent them from getting in their hands. So, yeah. Triggers are part of it, but
I think it's a combination of things. I know that people often talk about it's not guns, it's people dealing with mental health, and I don't think they're exclusive. I think we do have very serious issues around the way that we support or actually do not support mental health issues in our nation. But we are not the only nation in the world that has people that have mental health issues. Yet we have these ridiculous, insane statistics. And so it's not one or the other. I think it is the combination of not addressing mental health issues and the extraordinarily easy access to weaponry and the level of weaponry. Many of these mass shootings take place with weaponry that was built and intended for war.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you got people like Marjorie Taylor Greene in office, who is, promoting this propaganda, and people who have gotten guns. She's saying, making them seem like they're the victims. These people who are going out and killing people, and even her own party is angry with her with some of the remarks that she's been saying about some of these shootings and why they're happening. Basically, she's glorifying, the shooters. If you will.
It's shameful.
It is very shameful.
Well, the thing is,
you go to a circus, expect to see clowns, is all I'm going to say there.
You are so hilarious. But the thing is, there's so many different types of shootings happening now, which means that we've got to look at something other than just mental health or this. Because the new category of shootings these days is people showing up to the wrong car or the wrong address.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, I know that you guys and everybody who's watching has heard about the gentleman, Andrew Lester, who recently just pleaded guilty to the charges of assault in the first degree and armed criminal action for shooting the young kid, Ralph Yarl.
Ralph Yarl,
who went to 1100 Northeast 115th Street instead of 1100 Northeast 115th Terrace. Like simple change in address. He showed up at the guy's door, rang the doorbell. The guy comes to the door and shoots him in the head.
And the arm.
And
the arm.
And then walked outside, saw him laying down, and shot him in the arm.
Yep.
Now the guy.
But how about the people who didn't even help him, who he managed to get away? First of all, Ralph is a miracle. First of all,
he is blessed.
He is blessed.
Yep.
He went to other people's homes bleeding pleading for them to help him, and they would not.
And you know what, Alvin, when I hear that, it's sad. It's very sad to me. And yet at the same time, I have to ask myself, so if you are in your house and someone is at your door bleeding, and like if you are caught off guard, I just don't know if somebody would open the door, because they'd be like, I'd call the police or I'd call 911, but I don't know if I would open it, because I don't know what the circumstance is. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I understand that people should have responded, but I also know if you are in a residential neighborhood and someone comes to your door and they are bleeding and knocking at the door. Now, he does look like a child to me. Like, so that whole argument about, this big scary man was at my door does not hold any water for me. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying to imagine if someone came to my door, banging on the door, screaming and bleeding, when I opened the door. Now, the question is, did they offer any assistance? I don't know if they did, but the reports do say that it took him to get to the third house, I think, before somebody actually offered help to him.
Yeah, that's sort of ridiculous. I mean, at least you say, sit down, let me call the police, let me call the paramedics, hold on, and then you go out of your house, and then you help in a way that protects you and protects your home, et cetera, et cetera. But the level of humanity that I hold would not allow me to not help someone who I saw that was in distress.
I agree.
Well, as we talk about it and try to consider what is the reasoning behind this, I'm not sure if you guys heard that there are two grandsons of Andrew Lester who have come forward. Mm-hmm. One of them is Clint, who said that when he heard that his grandfather had shot this young guy, he wasn't surprised at all. He was disgusted, but not surprised, because he said that his grandfather watches Fox News all the time and is filled with racist beliefs and tendencies as a result. Now, the other grandson said that he doesn't believe that race was a factor, but come on, someone's at your door, they ring the doorbell, and your first, inclination is to get your gun before you go to the door. That's a lot. Anyway, Lester's due back in court on June 1st, so more shall be revealed. But I hope that I think we have another story. We're going to talk about another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're gonna talk about this next story, a similar situation, but in a different way. And we have 3 teens who are out, trying to find a party in upstate New York, and they turn up the wrong road. Yep. And they realize, this isn't a road. This is going up somebody's driveway. So they turn around, and a young white woman, Kaylin Gillis, was shot dead in the head by a guy standing on his porch when they turned around. His name is Kevin Monahan. He's 65 years old. He saw the car turn around to leave. They were no threat. They were posing no threat. And he shot in the car and shot her in the head and killed her. She was on the passenger side. But in the 2 stories here, the Andrew Lester, they let him go. They let him go home. Yep. And then they called him back only to give him a $200,000 bail and let him go home. But for this young white woman who was killed by Kevin Monahan, they convicted him immediately, charged him with 2nd-degree murder. Now, who cannot look at this and think that there's come on. They convicted him immediately for killing this white girl. Let me just say what it is.
Well, they didn't convict him. They
indicted him. They indicted him. Yeah, right. But they didn't convict. He's convicted now. But they indicted him immediately. There is something wrong with the system. And I don't know if it had anything to do with one being in Kansas City, one being in New York, but it just doesn't make sense to me that these 2 cases, similar in a way, someone pulls out their gun and just decides they're going to shoot you, and you're posing no threat, but yet one gets indicted and one doesn't.
Mm-hmm. And there was a recent shooting. I heard on the news literally this morning when I was getting dressed, somewhere in the United States, where a little 6-year-old girl was shot by her next door neighbor. I think the girl was playing with a ball or something.
Right.
The ball rolled into the yard. Yeah.
And that sounds like there's some other history there. But nevertheless, I don't know what's wrong with people now in these guns. And in this case, this was a black man who shot a little white girl. And I don't know if he's been into, I don't know what
they caught him.
Yeah.
They caught him.
But I don't know if he's been treated in the same way that these other shooters have been treated, is what I'm saying, in terms of the, whether he is still apprehended or whether he's released to go home or not. I don't know. But it was just yet another example. As I was listening to the news this morning, I was like, someone else has taken a gun and just, like, what is wrong that we are even shooting children?
Right.
Well, the father of the child was shooting at the black guy also. They both had guns.
Okay.
They both had guns, and the black guy shot the mother and the 6-year-old child. So it was like, they were having this like shootout over a basketball rolling into another yard.
It sounds like there is some history there. Sometimes there can be some toxic relationship between neighbors.
Hey, Leah Jean, Coach Leah, how you doing?
Hey, Coach.
Well, look, Blue said, why wasn't Lester charged with attempted murder, which is exactly what that was. He shot the kid in the head. That's not a deterrent. That is attempted murder. And I don't understand why he's not charged with more. So maybe that will change. Who knows?
But I do think what Alvin was saying, though, there's such inequity, though, in the criminal justice system. The media as well. Rodney had also mentioned another case of some young ladies, the 3 siblings, I think, that were killed down in Texas in 22, that nobody really got any real news coverage on as well. The injustices are systemic and they are real.
And it's getting worse. It's getting worse. And I see another comment actually from our producer. He said the fact that the firearm deaths occur at a rate more than 5 times higher than drownings.
It's now, as we're speaking, again, unfortunately, we've been on guns this whole time, but the latest news around the situation about the little 6-year-old boy who shot his teacher down in Virginia, the mother has been charged with felony child neglect and misdemeanor endangering a child by reckless storage of a firearm. So this is the mother to the left. She is 25 years old, and the teacher who was shot on the right there in this image. And so, again, it raises the issue of parental responsibility and accountability when young people receive or have access to weaponry.
Well, if we can even... I'm sorry to move us forward so quickly, but talking about parental responsibility, all this uptick in violence, Chicago, all those kids in downtown Chicago wreaking havoc on stores and attacking people, etc. Where are the parents? Where are the parents not? How are you letting your child out and doing with all kinds of nonsense and not knowing where they are? I shared with you guys a couple of reports, one of which was a mother basically saying, look, my child asked me if he could go out. And this is the child that was killed.
Right.
He asked if he could go out. She said normally she would say no, but for some reason she said yes this time. And her rationale was, I can't say no to him all the time.
All the time, right.
Yeah. I mean, I get that, but you got to know where your child is.
Right. And look, and I tell this story all the time. And one of my good friends is on this call right now. When there was a club here called the Clubhouse in DC, and the line was stretched around the block. I would sneak out of my house on Saturdays. I would act like I'm asleep, and I would sneak out of my house and go and get in that line, change my clothes at some friend's house and go. One night I'm standing in line with my friends and a taxi cab pulls up and I heard someone say Bernard. It was my mother in a house coat.
Yes, child, with a rolling pin.
With a house.
Well, I'm sure people Bernard, so a lot of people don't know that Alvin is also Bernard. So
A lot of people, my middle name is Bernard, and my mother called my name, and I could have just tinkled all in my pants, and my friends were screaming, "That's your mother, that's your mother." She got out the car and out the cab and looked me up and down and said, "I just needed to know where you're going." Every Saturday.
The dreaded house coat.
In the house. Oh no, it was a house coat. It wasn't dreaded. Okay, but she made sure that she pulled herself together to get out of that cab to read me. And I promise you, my friends, George, they laughed at me for years because of that. Parents don't do that anymore. Parents don't know where their kids. That's the point I'm trying to make. That's exactly right, Rodney. Tinkle, Rodney, because I'm on national. I'm on a. I can't say what I want to say, but you know what I'm talking about. Wet pants, and I probably had on chintz. But to your point, parents don't know what their kids are doing anymore. They need to take responsibility for where their kids are going. A lot of them do not. First of all, they're so happy to get them out their hair,
Exactly, that they're not following them. Well, apparently with this woman with her 6-year-old who shot the teacher, there are repercussions there. I have a feeling that more and more, as the teens are doing more and more, they're going to find the parents and hold the parents responsible.
All these young people who have shot people before, and I'm like, and their parents have not been held accountable in the same way.
Hello.
Some of them have been. I mean, the kid. Well, there's so many mass shootings, but there was one.
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
There was one where the kid apparently had been texting with the parents, and they held the parents responsible, but not nearly enough.
Right. Those are the parents who were like saying, like, don't look for the bullets like online or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about, like, say, for instance, there are people who knew that their children had access to weaponry. And their child does something, and they've just not been held accountable in the same way. But I just want to say this quickly because I know we're moving on. So as we're talking about all this gun stuff, I then hear this morning that the charges against Alex Baldwin have been dropped in the Rush shooting. You know, on the set.
I think it should. I think it should be dropped against him. I think it should be dropped against him. He's an actor. And somebody gives an actor a gun, should he stop and say, okay, is this the right trigger? Does this gun have bullets in it? I think it's that little piece right there. I think that charges should be dropped and they should be held against the people who are responsible for giving the guns out.
As an actor, when you do stage combat, you were told no matter what, when you were given a gun, you never pointed at another person. Period. You never point a gun at another person.
Period.
When you're filming, you were aiming off to the side because you never know. And if you were given a gun, you were always to assume that it is loaded and it is live. The woman who was responsible for training said that she tried to get time with him to train. He didn't pay attention. She tried to get production to give her more time with him to give him training. They didn't take it seriously. And now she's the one who's on the line because, as you just said, you think the person who gave him the gun should be held responsible. And she's saying, I tried to do my job. He got the gun and was going around acting like he's Billy the Kid. Someone got shot, and now he's trying to say, "Oh, it's not my fault," when he was the one that was jerking, around with it. Charges should not have been dropped. There should have been repercussions.
That's why
I would say her story. I would say she should say that as well. I think she should say that. She should say, all the things. I tried to get him to stop. He's a big actor. I just don't buy that I am glad that the charges are dropped. I'm just going to leave it at that.
And again, that's why we're called He Said, He Said, He Said. We've got lots more news to get to, so let's keep it right.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And before we do, Alvin, George Prinkle said, "Yes, Alvin, Mom got you good."
And Rod said that he agrees with you, Alvin, that that Alex Baldwin should not be held responsible for it. So
I love my panel, but sometimes we don't agree on stuff, but we still love each other. We still here, aren't we?
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever. Okay. All right. Look. Okay. Yeah. The gun violence is out of control, but now we're going to move on to some politics right now, and we're going to talk about the who is this? I agree, Alvin, on a production set. It isn't responsibility of the actor to check the prop. Well, don't start the prop, Rodney. Don't get Vash started because he okay because
I think I'm the only actor on this panel.
Wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute, hold. Excuse me. I've been an actor all my life.
Oh Lord,
acting a fool.
Okay, well, thank you.
That was like quick pass into okay. That was the don't come for me moment of the night.
And that clarifies me as an actor. Okay.
Up in the line at the clubhouse when your mama got to get out of my camp.
Thank you. So anyway, we're gonna go to court now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. This week, Dominion voting settles for $757.5 million against Fox. Okay, but it started out as $1.6 billion, ladies and gentlemen, but it didn't go that way. At a split second, when the jurors came in, they reached a settlement, and I just want to share with y'all. They did that, and Fox didn't want any trouble. Because first of all, they've already, by paying them the money, they've already said, okay, we were wrong. So but they haven't said it. It's just, they knew that they were wrong. And that money probably is a drop in the bucket for them. But their woes are not over.
It's a drop.
Okay. It is not over. And Dominion, there's going to be a few more, they're bringing lawsuits against Dominion voting is bringing lawsuits against a few more people for the $1.6 billion. That the same lawsuit that they went to Fox on, they're bringing it against other people like Rudy Giuliani. Mm-hmm. But that won't happen until 2024. Sidney Powell, Dominion has filed this lawsuit in January against Sidney Powell. And also, they are filing another lawsuit. Let me see what it says right here against Mike Liddell. Also, okay. So, I mean, more lawsuits are coming. This just set the precedent that we're gonna come for you. You're gonna lie on us, and you're going to, try to damage our credibility the way you did with spreading your lies. We're going to come. You're right, Blue, but no public apology will be given. And that to me is pretty sad, but it's Fox.
But I personally struggled with, it is a lot of money, but it's still a drop of money in terms of what
it is.
And what concerns me about it is the whole notion that as a journalistic source, the fact that you can be so blatant about untruth and think that you can just pay and not say anything about it. They were perpetuating a known falsehood. Like they knew it was not the truth. And they just decided that they were going to run with it and continue to when I think about what we witnessed, and Alvin, you and I are here in the DMV. When I think about January 6th and how it impacted this city and people in this area, and knowing that many of those people did that insane act, believing that some of the stuff that these people were saying was they were cheated out of the election. There was cheating with these machines. And they were perpetuating that and encouraging people to believe that.
Like half of the world believes it,
and to not force them to get on in a jury situation to be able to testify the truth that they knew that it wasn't the texts that were showing up, that they were texting one another saying that they but to allow them to not get up in a court and be held accountable and testify as they should have it was disappointing to me because it's just a drop in the bucket.
I agree with you. It was disappointing because I wanted to see a shit show. Excuse me, I did curse, Rodney. I every now and then. I wanted to see a show. I wanted to see them humiliated, but that wasn't going to happen.
I wanted to see them confess in hopes of getting people back into believing elections and back into some sense of, decency.
It's big.
Yeah. They undermined democracy around the world in a way that we now do not see a clear path to recovery and repair. And I think we missed that opportunity, and it was clear, it was right there, and they settled for half of the money that they wanted. And they say that they got what they wanted, which was, some kind of admission, but they still did not get what they deserved, and we, the people, did not get what we deserved.
I wanted to see Tucker Carlson sitting up in that box and them saying, when you got on the news every night and telling people that you believed that there was voter fraud and that it impacted the outcome of the election, did you believe it was?
Oh, child, that
were you aware when you were saying that it was not the truth?
Right. We
but you need to be Brian Williams. You need to be exited from your chair. If you're sitting there knowingly lying to people,
you need to be black to be caught. Okay, you need to be black to be caught, and so none of them look like any one of us.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
so
being caught, there is a 21-year-old Jack Teixeira. I'm sure I'm slaughtering his name, who is a suspected leaker of Pentagon documents. 21 years old, had access to information. He was working up in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. He worked as an intelligence wing in the intelligence wing, and his family comes from a military family that also worked in IT. So one of the questions was, he's a 21-year-old member of the Massachusetts Air National Guard, and he faces 2 criminal accounts. The question is, a 21-year-old having access to this information?
Full.
Yeah,
access.
well, I mean, it's, if you're in the military, you come in and get assigned all kinds of, activities.
Yes.
So it's not surprising to me. I'm just surprised at how much he looks like Winona Ryder.
You just come out with it. You just come out. Well, she can play him.
I mean, I'm just struck by the similarities in Chelsea Manning and this person, and I'm just
Winona Ryder can play him.
Winona Ryder can play him. I agree with Vash that it doesn't. He was, as Blue said, he was cleared. I saw it happening. I see something like that happening easily. Okay, now I really do, and for these young kids who know how to manipulate, and how they can use the internet and social media in ways unimaginable to me. I'm like, this is not surprising.
I just feel like it is surprising to me that a 21-year-old would get that higher level of clearance to certain information. I mean, this was information relating to the war in Ukraine. So all I'm saying is I understand security clearance and that he would have access to certain information, but something of this nature at 21?
Well, he had worked through the ranks, honey.
He was 21.
But if he joined at 17 or 18, that's 3 years. That's enough to develop trust.
He looks like Winona Ryder, Vash.
That's what it is. Stranger Things is a big hit.
He does sound, 21 sounds young to somebody who's,
old,
younger than me. But he was 21. He was 21, and he worked his way up. So I did. And the next story is, Okay.
Well, we have 10 minutes.
So shady. Go on.
So we can go ahead. I mean, we were going to talk about Judge Thomas and how, I think we talked about him before, how he's failed to report trips and gifts from his friend and GOP donor Harlan Crow. Well,
Right.
this whole case has been sort of moved on and up into ethics and into committees that are going to take a look at and see whether or not what he did was incorrect and unlawful, and whether or not there will be any kind of actions taken against him. His comment was that early in his tenure in the court, he sought guidance from colleagues and others in the judiciary, and he was advised that this sort of personal hospitality from close personal friends who did not have business before the court was not reportable, which to me is a crock, because he also had this gentleman buy a house and he didn't report that, and that was business. Right. So there's people are beginning to look at this and say that there seems to be a pattern that shows that he was definitely trying to keep that relationship and the financial intertwinings a secret. So Chief Justice Roberts is the presiding officer of the Judicial Conference. So we will see whether or not anything happens with this, but we're going to watch it and keep everybody informed.
Absolutely. I don't have nothing to say on that. I'll have, because, kiss my astronaut, Clarence Thomas.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. So speaking of kissing,
come on now.
We're going to move to some updated news on the It Man fall from grace right now, Mr. Jonathan Majors, who was as high as you could possibly be in entertainment circles, multiple movies out at the same time. And of course, he was hit with alleged abuse charges and assault charges. And as of most recent days, there have been a couple of more abuse victims, alleged, I want to put out alleged abuse victims who have come forward suggesting that this could be a pattern of behavior. And one of the things we talked about is we understand that when your star is rising, that there will be people that can sometimes come out of the woodwork. They had not, I guess, come forward up to this point, but are presenting themselves now. And so we find ourselves, again, with this situation, are people coming out of the woodwork because of who he is, or is this indeed a pattern of someone who was so much on the rise as a gifted entertainer?
I think it's both. Mm-hmm. I think it's both, to be honest with you. I'm just kind of disappointed that this is happening. And I don't think that he is the victim that everyone wants to make him out to be, because he's a Black person and he's reached a certain status. Sometimes we need to really check our skeletons a little closer before we, go out into the world. But that's easier said than done when the money and the opportunities are coming at a pace that, you just feel like you don't have to do it. And so I'm disappointed. That's what I'm going to say right now, because I don't know the facts, but I like this man, and I'm just disappointed that this is happening.
Well, didn't the woman from this particular charge, didn't she say, I think his attorney was quoting some of the text that she sent saying, I didn't intend for this to happen. I hope nothing happens to you, that she recanted that it was really a physical incident, et cetera, et cetera.
Does that first person?
No, the one that is the cause of this particular incarceration, not the ones that have come forward from the past, but this present one.
That was that's what Bobby said, the first person.
Yes, the first person supposedly suggested that she regretted that all of this has spiraled into what it had become. Yes.
Right. Okay. But they found scars on her. They found a scar on her neck where she had said, she didn't want to, where he had apparently, they deemed it as he choked her. So they found scars on her. So whether she scratched her neck or whatever, but as Sam said, we know other women have come forward. And so, I'm disappointed.
Yeah. And he's been dropped by his talent manager and so forth.
PR. He's been dropped by everybody, taken out of a movie.
Like all the ads that were running.
Well, we're going to.
Any way we look at it, it is unfortunate for those victims. potential victims, alleged victims.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate for him.
Mhm.
There's no good side to this story, unfortunately.
Well, still in, sorry, Jonathan, but he does still have a voice. And speaking of voice, there's some trouble over at the. Okay,
It was brilliant.
okay, I may not be an actor, however, okay, I can move a story. So, okay, over at The Voice, okay, just real quick, we love The Voice. Bobby and I talk on the phone about The Voice. We watch it. We're in it. Well, there's some stuff going on, and even Bobby didn't even know this. But
so I'm waiting. What's up?
Well, Kelly Clarkson is having some issues over at The Voice. And I was like, what is going on, Kelly? Well, recently they brought Reba McEntire back to serve as a judge for the next 2 weeks. Well, guess what? Reba McEntire is the mother of Kelly's ex-husband. Yes, and so
I forgot.
And they are feuding on the set, and I was like, but that kind of makes sense to me because Reba is like throwing like plenty shade according to sources, and so I was like, that kind of makes sense to me. But it's knocking Kelly off her game.
I forgot.
So, that's all I wanted to share with y'all tonight.
That's kind of fabulous. That's almost it is almost like they were like, who can we bring back?
Right. Who can we bring back to shake Kelly?
Right. Wow.
Okay.
Yes, Kelly was married to her son.
And she wants them to get back together, reportedly, what people are saying. And she's like hounding Kelly. But, Kelly writing songs about how she hated him, how he took her money and all that stuff. So, Reba, leave Kelly alone and let her do her job because we like The Voice and we need her. We don't want her to cancel.
Okay, but we have got to get to this next story, Vash.
Yes.
We got to get.
Allen Media Group Motion Pictures has announced that Billy Porter is set to play and co-write the upcoming biopic about the amazing author and civil rights activist James Baldwin. So the film will be based on the 1994 biography James Baldwin, a biography that was written by author David Leeming. Porter said in a statement, as a Black queer man on the planet with relative consciousness, I find myself, like James Baldwin said, in a rage all the time. He's not the only one. Right. He also went on to say, I am because James was. I stand on James Baldwin's shoulders, and I intend to expand his legacy for generations to come. Amen. So during his Emmy speech, he said, James Baldwin said, it took many years of vomiting up all the filth that I had been taught about myself and halfway believed before I could walk around on this earth like I had the right to be here. He said, I have the right, you have the right, we all have the right. So I'm really looking forward to this story because I really do believe that more people need to see James Baldwin, not just hear the clips or watch the clips, but to really get an idea of his story and his journey. For those of you who don't know, Baldwin died from stomach cancer in 1987 at age 63. So it'll be amazing to have the world get to know this Black gay man who helped change the world.
I think this is going to be one of the hardest roles that Billy Porter will ever have to play. And if he does it justice, because he is writing, he is producing, and he is directing this under Bob Allen Studios, this will earn him the Oscar. He will get an Oscar for this portrayal if it goes over well. So I am hopeful that Billy Porter does this, but by no... There is nothing in me that says this is going to be an easy role for him to play because he's gay or because he can identify. Yep. It's not going to be an easy role.
I concur.
I mean, it shouldn't be easy,
right?
Because it should be fantastic. So it should be a challenge. But I think that the passion that he has and the similarity that he has in the life, I think that he will bring and give a dynamic performance. I'm typically not loving when someone writes, directs, and produces a film.
Right.
There's usually not a lot of circumspect, but I think that this will be fantastic.
Well, we are certainly looking forward to it. And ladies and gentlemen, guess what? What we're not looking forward to? Ending the show. Bobby, were you going to say something before I move on?
We will see. I know that there were a couple of times when I watched Billy Porter in Pose as Pray Tell, where I thought he was extraordinary and surprisingly so. But I agree with you that the trying to be the triple threat in this makes it even more complex. So we'll see. We will see.
Well, we're definitely going to raise him. Ladies and gentlemen, to all of you who have joined us tonight, thank you so much for joining us on our Let's Get Newsy segment. We love doing this part of the show because it's just us, and we let our hair down. For those of us, we have no hair, but we let our hair down for you all, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
and right. we are so glad that you have engaged us. So before I go, let me give you guys the words of the week. We need to hang around people that pour water on the fires of our fears and throw gasoline on the passion of our dreams.
Amen.
And that was a quote by Chris Volaton and presented by none other than our panelist, Mr. Bobby Edwards. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we love you guys. We love you guys. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you on our next episode of He Said.
He said.
Thank you,
guys. Y'all be good.
Be blessed.
Bye, everybody.